My Dinner with Andre.
My Dinner with Andre?
A Dinner with Andre.
My Dinner with Andre.
Those are the kind of movies I generally like. I like other kinds of movies too.
It's just this crazy conversation.
There's that great scene where Andre Gregory is talking to Wallace Shawn, and he says, we have to wonder if such a thing as a human person will still be a thing in the future.
See, I think it's quite possible that the 1960s represented the last burst of the human being before he was extinguished. And that this is the beginning of the rest of the future now, that from now on there'll simply be all these robots walking around, feeling nothing, thinking nothing.
I finished A Dinner with Andre the same night that he watched it, and so it's one of those things that pops up, All of a sudden there's these weird resonances, and there's these weird serendipities.
Well, why do you think that is? I mean, why is that? I mean, is it just because people are lazy today, or they're bored? I mean, are we just like bored, spoiled children who've just been lying in the bathtub all day, just playing with their plastic duck, and now they're just thinking, well, what can I do?
Have you seen that?
No. Okay, so I'm here. I am hosting the show this morning. We are this morning picking up. We're going to be picking up right where we left off last time.
That's a non-starter.
And so, go ahead. No, well, I was going to say, and so this, I think it's legitimate for Christians to, and so there's a lot of Christians, and someone made the comment today on Twitter, someone who's listening to our stuff. Nostalgia is a medication that people apply. How did he say it? Something to when their worldview has a virus. And I thought that's that's right. So okay.
I don't know what's happening, but I'm gonna leave. This is weird. Leave.
Good morning. Good morning. I don't know if anything's working this morning. It says there's audio, but I'm not sure if there's any audio. I can't tell if there's any audio. What? Rob, I don't know if this doesn't work that way. Kept PVK honest. I don't talk to PVK. I don't keep anybody honest. I try to be honest, but I'm not always good at it. I don't know, Rob. You're gonna have to figure it out. There is audio. There is audio. We hear you. Okay. Okay. Where were we? Nostalgia.
Okay, we're going to close our eyes to science, but we're going to go fill up the tank where the oil was found by geologists who are employing the science. And Christians don't go to the doctor and say, do you practice biblical anatomy? I mean,
exactly, right. And in my recent Q&A, and you were there, by the way, I saw that. Thank you very much. I was pointing out, like, you've got to pay attention to cognitive science and artificial intelligence, because it is coming, and it is going to shake up your ontology and what it is to be a person way more than Darwin and way more than Copernicus ever did. And pretending it's not going to happen is not helpful. It is not helpful. We have to start thinking about this now.
Wait, what did he just say? I wasn't paying attention, apparently. What is coming?
Is a medication that people apply. How did he say it? Something to when their worldview has a virus. And I thought that's that's right. So okay, we're going to close our eyes to science, but we're going to go fill up the tank where the oil was found by geologists who are employing the science. And Christians don't go to the doctor and say, do you practice biblical anatomy. I mean,
exactly, right. And you know, in my recent Q&A, and you were there, by the way, I saw that. Thank you very much. I was pointing out, like, you've got to pay attention to cognitive science and artificial intelligence, because it is coming, and it is going to shake up your ontology and what it is to be a person, way more than Darwin and way more than Copernicus ever did.
Okay, cognitive science and artificial intelligence. So this was 6 years ago. Vervaeke was saying artificial intelligence is going to shake up your world. Okay. Chad saying nostalgia is a neoclassical compound coined in 1688 by Swiss medical student Johannes Hofer to describe a severe fatalistic homesickness among mercenaries, combining the Greek roots nostos, homecoming, and algos, pain. Wait. You're telling me algo means pain and grief? I don't think Chad even meant that. I think, okay, Chad's saying it literally translates to the pain of wanting to return home, originally considered a medical disease before evolving into a sentimental, bittersweet longing for the past. I mean, the nostos, the homecoming, I'm pretty sure that's a central theme in the Odyssey. This idea that Odysseus is far away from home and he's just trying to get home to see his wife and kid. Deep nostos. But the algo thing is wild, that algos means pain and grief. I wonder if you take the S off and it just goes to algo, if that is a different word. But the symbolism of algo literally meaning pain and grief, that kind of just cracks me up. Good morning, Scott. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. Good morning. Lots of good mornings here. Lots of good mornings. I do feel like it is a good morning.
I see the assassins have failed. I am
Ethan Kahi, and we're going to keep going with Vanderklay and Vervaeke.
And pretending it's not going to happen is not helpful. It is not helpful. We have to start thinking about this now, really deeply right now. So that's why I think it's important.
And so then I guess that the main point of this slide for me is that in science, whether or not you're a theist or whatever you in a sense bracket these and say, okay, with respect to the world, I'm going to pursue the world as if the spirit of geometry can continue to gain ground.
Right. And so, I mean, and one way in which I stand aside from that, and this is a tricky thing because I feel that it's fair to say I'm criticizing them from within a scientific perspective via cognitive science. And one of the themes of the series has been the criticism of the reduction, and notice that word, of all knowing to propositional knowing, which of course is what science generates. Science generates propositional knowing and propositional truths, and those are really important. But the practice of science depends on procedural knowledge, which depends on perspectival knowing, which ultimately depends on our participatory attunement. And so you have to be very, very careful, right, to remember like what you're talking about and not to confuse properties of your theorizing with properties of what you're theorizing about.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. There's a scholar that, people throw me stuff all the time now, named Drew Johnson, he's an Old Testament scholar, and he's working in some of the.
Do you think PVK got smarter because people started throwing stuff at him all the time? Like, I mean, that's kind of like you walk out on YouTube and all of a sudden people are like, "Hey, have you heard of this?" And it's like, "No, I've never heard of that." Huh? That's so interesting. And then people just keep sending you things that you've never heard of, and now all of a sudden you hear about all kinds of things that you never would have normally heard of, because you're just one human being with one opinion, and now all of a sudden you can like farm opinions. I don't even mean farm in a bad way. I just mean like there's like just the organic matter of reality that is growing all around you, and you can only harvest so much, but other people are just like walking up to you with their bounty, being like, "This is the most interesting thing I heard this week. Do you want to see it?" And then PBK is like, "Sure, let's plant it in the garden and see what grows."
This field, and he noted the procedural similarities between ancient people conducting a sacrifice and modern scientists conducting an experiment.
And you can see that also in Bacon, right, where he talks about putting nature on the rack and torturing her to reveal her secrets.
Did he just say Francis Bacon wanted to put nature on the rack, as in like the torture rack, and then like torture nature into telling secrets? I got a book. Let me just grab this book real quick. It's right around the corner. I think this cord can reach. So I heard of this book, and it's supposed to be good. I don't really know. It's called Knowledge is Power. I don't think you can see that at all. I think it's actually better to see it from far away. How magic, the government, and an apocalyptic vision inspired Francis Bacon to create modern science. Doesn't that sound like a fun read? I haven't started it yet. I haven't been reading much. It's very sad. I could be reading right now, but I'm here. This is probably a mistake. This is probably all a mistake.
The way it, I mean, and Polanyi was very important on this, and that's why he's had such a huge influence on me too. That we have to always remember the practitioners of science and not treat science as if it fell from the sky. That's very important.
Okay. So now, for the sake of humanity and our sense of aloneness, we also act. So we act as if it's, the whole show can give way continually to the spirit of geometry. We also act as if the universe is not the whole show. And we aspire to not treat people as objects. And we demand that we not be treated as objects. Sure. And we act as if there's an important category of person. And this important category is rightly approached with the spirit of finesse.
So I think that's important. We should, sorry, my cough is in no way indicative of it. I'm literally just got something caught in my throat. So first of all, the centrality of person. I picked up a book, and I'm going to start reading it soon.
For Vervaeke, I also picked up a book that I intend to read soon, but I got to talk to Olson real quick. I was listening to the Wonder Years, specifically the Greatest Generation album, on repeat for the last couple of days. I don't know if anybody's talked to you about Midwest emo, but like I am Midwest emo, so if you hear any like Southern boys try to like claim Midwest emo, no, they're from the South. They're not from the Midwest. I'm from the Midwest. Midwest emo is my shtick. I love the Wonder Years. The Greatest Generation is one of the greatest albums of all time. If I'm in a hospital and you're in an airport, if I'm in an airport and you're in a hospital, well, then what kind of man does that make me?
By Josiah Royce, because he tried to build an ontology in which person and personhood was central. So I think we should talk about that. So can I ask you, and this is an open question, what do you mean by we act as if it's not the whole show? Do you mean that we feel that there's meaning and normativity, like that people should be treated in a certain way, right? And that the people are working in terms of meaning, not just in terms of physical properties? Is that what you mean by we think there's more to the show?
Yes. And if let's say you're having a heated conversation with a significant other, and let's say you feel that let's say a spouse, I've been married 31 years now, so you get to know someone pretty well after 31 years.
I would hope so.
Yeah, it's better. And you feel that you sort of have the other person figured out, and now in your mind you've sort of put them on the side of the spirit of geometry.
Right.
Number one, people who do that, it doesn't go very well. And they're usually wrong, because this is at least as much a function of our limitation. Even after 31 years of marriage, my wife will do things that I'll think, I didn't see that coming. And I've been married for 31 years.
This is what I meant when I said Pascal's things are, what Pascal is talking about is an existential mode. Like so what I hear you saying, so tell me if I'm wrong, what I hear you saying is we ultimately can't have an I-it relationship to people. Yes. We can when, we're getting on the bus and stuff like that. But, we're bound to them in friendship or love, right? Or as in your case, your lucky case, marriage has not worked out so well for me, but I'm glad it's worked well for you. We can't have just an I-it relationship with them. We also have to have an I-thou. Is that what you're saying? And there's something, okay, but so part of what I think that's deeply right. I talk about this in one of the 4 episodes at the very end of the series, a bit when I go into depth about Heidegger, and also a little bit about Harman and what's called speculative realism. Because one of the things they're arguing, because you had the Kantian picture up a minute ago. Yeah. So if I could just talk about this a little bit, because I think even if you in the ultimate sense disagree with it, I think you'll find this valuable and useful.
Okay, what he's about to say is going to be valuable and useful, so therefore I have to pause now before he says the valuable and useful thing. So when we restart, we just start with the valuable and useful thing, and all of our attentions are refreshed and ready for valuable, useful things. West Coast emo, it's not real. That's not a real thing. I lived on the West Coast, and people sleep in too long to be emotional. I mean that very literally. Like, Midwest emo comes from a place where it's 4:30 a.m. and I have to get up and I have to shovel snow, and then I have to go to a job I hate. Like, you don't get to sleep in and then go to the job you hate. You have to get up and shovel snow and then go to the job you hate. That's where Midwest emo comes from. On the West Coast, it's basically the same temperature all year round, except for the May grays. But like, yeah, no, there is no emo. It's all just, it's fake. It's not real. Sesame Street. I'm more of a Winnie the Pooh guy. Better thought. Sesame Street is a better thought? No. Pascal. Is Rob still going off about Rob's still on banging the drum. Okay. That's a great picture. Pedro Pascal in Sesame Street? Pedro Pascal in Sesame Street. That's a great picture. Now for things that are very valuable and very important.
So one of the things the speculative realists are talking about, and here's how they were influenced in important ways. Well, I won't go into that, but one convergent line is I think there's a similarity to the early romantics that had such a huge influence on Barfield. So what's this notion? Let's go back to the thing in itself, right?
Has anybody actually read Barfield? Is Barfield just like, is he a McGilchrist where everybody talks about him but no one's read him? Has anybody read Barfield? Because all I ever hear is original participation. That's it. That's all I ever hear. Everyone says, yeah, Barfield's original participation. And I go, but what is it? And nobody ever says what it is. Which leads me to believe that no one's read Barfield. Has anybody actually read Barfield? I just asking for a friend. Just curious.
So you've got Heidegger, and I won't get into Heidegger full blown because that's huge, but I will later in the series, right? But Heidegger has this notion of, at the level of participatory knowing, truth isn't the correctness of our propositions. The correctness of that
Okay, Heidegger says truth isn't the correctness of our propositions. So, what is truth? Is it revelation?
Proposition ultimately depends on an attunement between the agent and the arena. Yes. And the kind of attunement, I it or I thou, has a terrific effect on what we can judge to be correct.
Okay, so there's an agent, there's an arena. You can play the I it way. You can play the I thou way. Multiple ways to play in the arena. But if you know you're in the arena and you know the kind of way you're playing, do you get closer to truth?
Is that all working? And you see how it fits into with what we're talking about?
Yep.
Heidegger points out that this aletheia, which is the Greek word for lethe, means to forget. So it's this kind of deep remembering, this existential remembering. Right? Heidegger points out, or he argues, and this is something that I think is really sort of phenomenologically profound.
Okay, we're almost to the valuable, profound part, but real quick. Rob, yeah, I hear you. Yes, I understand the Muslim Golden Age. Do you understand that there is no Islam without Christianity? Like, I mean, and then you're going to go back, we're going to end up at Afro-Asiatic. So like the whole thing, it's built on mystery. And then we're an oral culture where there's all kinds of stories, and you can't trace an oral story because it's been going at a campfire for 1,000 years, 2,000, 3,000 years. You wouldn't know Greek canons without Muslims. I understand that the Muslim Golden Age saved a bunch of the texts, and that is how the Renaissance happened, was they got the Greek texts through the Muslims. I'm tracking. But then what? Like, what's the point? I get it. I've read the history. What's the point? I mean, if it's just like, thank you, Muslims, for writing down and keeping and preserving Greek texts, I can say that. I can say thank you to Muslims who did that. I don't have a problem saying that. Is there any other point? Help me out here, because you're banging the drum and I don't know what you want. Heidegger was a version of an existentialist. Yeah, Heidegger's an interesting dude. I mean, I think that's pretty much true of any, like, if you know a name, it's usually like an interesting dude or dudette. Just an interesting human being, usually. Names are weird.
That and phenomenon means to shine. This is something that Jordan Peterson advertises a lot about, right? And so, right, as the object is shining into our frame, I'm going to use a little bit of my language, right, and becoming relevant and salient to us, it is always also simultaneously withdrawing in its combinatorially explosive reality. And let me use my language a little bit more closely. So he talks about the withdrawal and the shining. And the argument is, and you can see this in some of the work I'm doing with Dan Chappie on virtual reality, like that to have a world real isn't just that everything, right, is disclosed in this intelligible pattern of confirmation to us. That world also, as I am, right, as it's shining into my frame, it has to be simultaneously enmeshed with the sense that it is withdrawing into this moreness, this moreness from which, and so I've coined a term for trying to say what all these people are talking about. We don't have the thing in itself, we have the thing beyond itself. Everything is a thing beyond itself.
Okay, so a thing in itself, I think it comes from Kant, if my philosophical overview classes from a couple of years ago still hold. Thing beyond itself. So there is a thing. The thing has a self. That's the itself. And the thing also has a beyondness. I mean, that just seems like evidently true. That things go beyond. I mean, I think of things even when the things aren't in front of me. So there's clearly a beyondness to the thing. The thing can go beyond itself. Okay. For the sake of humanity, for the sake of humanity. Western Christianity was destroyed and appropriated by Germanics in Dark Ages. I mean, that's the thing, is like things are destroyed. I mean, like World War I and World War II destroyed culture and Christianity. And so then, like, the thing we have today is not the same thing that was happening in 1900. Which is why, like, going into World War I, you have the modernists, and then coming out of World War II, you have the metafictionists. And you go, wait. How did this movement come from this movement? Like, how is the great movement of literature going into the war the modernist movement, and then coming out of the war, finally on the other side, we have the metafictionists, and there's like no link, and you're like, how did this? But this happens in art too. Like the Milwaukee Art Museum, there's like a painting where it's like this like idyllic American pastoral field, and there's like a centaur standing in there, and it's like, I don't know, it might be like 1880 or something. And I remember being like, they were still painting centaurs in 1880, like really? But then you like jump to like 1960, and you have, oh shoot, I don't know when Warhol was around. Warhol might have been a little late. Well, maybe I'm not. I'm not gonna Google. I'm not gonna cheat and use the machine. I'm just gonna commit to what I said, and if I get mocked, I get mocked. But like, yeah, even in the visual arts, there's a huge jump from before the war, and then after the war, and like, I don't think that we, at least for me, until kind of in the last year, I don't think I've realized the full scope of how much was lost during the war, 1 and 2, just one whole thing. Like, civilization died. It died. And then we got a new one. I mean, there's no other way to think about it. And it makes sense because, I mean, so many people died in that period. 30 year period, what? 1917, 1947. I don't know. I don't know the right dates. Warhol was 1960s. Okay. Yeah, check it out. I got some visual art bona fides. And then of course civilization keeps going, but like it's not the same thing because the knowledge transfer didn't happen. All the knowledge that was built up just kind of like collapsed in rubble, and so then people went like, okay, well, what do we do next? And then they just picked up whatever was probably easiest, most useful. And then you have a whole new civilization coming out of that rubble.
Right. So this is one of the, I think the key notions of at least Harman's work and others, that it's not just people. And this is not meant to diminish the moral status of people. Okay. But it's like, but what Harman argues is right, our sense of ourselves as a person helps us to gain access to this way in which the thing is beyond itself. And this is how. You see, to be a person is to have a non-logical identity between what I am in my frame and what I'm going to become as I move into another frame beyond.
Oh, that's good. To be a person is to live between what I am today and what I am becoming. So there's a time dimension to your personality. Yeah, it makes sense, because who I'm becoming tomorrow could be radically different by what I do today. I mean, I could go smash a bottle of whiskey and then like take someone's life on the road by driving drunk. And then my tomorrow is not the same tomorrow that was supposed to be. It's like we're always becoming, and what you do today has enormous implications. And we do this weird thing where we go like, I do a little bit of this, but certainly not as much as I used to, where you go like, yeah, that's future Ethan's problem. Future Ethan's going to have to deal with present Ethan decisions. And it's like, why am I so cruel to future Ethan? Like, genuinely, like, why do I not care for my future self? And that's a strange dilemma to be in. And I think a lot of folks are in that dilemma. I think we're all in that dilemma. Why do we not care more for our future selves? What is it that doesn't allow us to just kind of peer around the corner of time and go, you know, this isn't going to pay off. This is going to end poorly. So I should care for my future more. I think a lot about the phrase that like, I don't know. We got Ojibwa around here. So like the Ojibwa would make decisions concerned for 7 generations down the line. I think it's a little bit like apocryphal. But I think that their culture was just thought that way more. And our culture, the water that we swim in, I mean, it really is just like short-term gains, like gas to the pedal, pedal to the floor, pedal to the metal. What's the phrase? Gas all the way down? All gas, no brakes? See, if I was around memes more, I could pull them fast. but I never look at memes. So I only hear memes occasionally, and then I don't have retention on the memes. I can't pull the memes. All gas, no brakes, short-term gains, pedal to the metal. Just the future, who cares? I'm there? Maybe I will be, maybe I won't be. Pedal to the metal, short-term gains. Let's go.
Beyond it. That's why narrative work. Like, look, you look at a picture from yourself when you're 1 year old, and you go, there I am. That's not a logical identity. You don't so many of the properties are not shared. It's a narrative identity. It's a non-logical identity. And persons are enmeshed with non-logical identity. But here's the argument. Everything is, right? This cup, right? There's a non-logical identity between how it shines into my frame of relevance and how it's always simultaneously in a mutually supporting fashion withdrawing into its combinatorial explosive, richness that is beyond my capacity to fully frame it. Mm-hmm. And so for me, this is a way, at least I think, and I don't know if this is helpful to you or not, about how, right, the notion of personhood, again, not to remove its moral privilege, right, gives us a participatory way of knowing everything, mm-hmm. right, of picking up on the intelligible, this inexhaustible moreness that constantly is a fecund fountain of new intelligibility, but that intelligibility never drains the thing dry. Mm-hmm. And so that's why, like I said, in virtual reality, if I can drain the world dry, it's not very real. It always has to be beyond me, but it also has to be, frameable by me. And we have this non-logical polar sense of realness, to use one of our other main terms, that I think is deeply at work. And I see this as some of the most exciting work that's going on right now in ontology. Now, here's what I have to say about that.
He has some things to say about that. Yeah, the be honest is interesting. What it makes me think about, I'm still thinking about the future thing. Because I was thinking, like, was Jesus the kind of human that, like, was just always concerned with the future? Because, like, we know that Jesus was the kind of human that always listened to his Father. And we know that Jesus was the kind of human that always listened to the Spirit. Does the Father care for the future? I'm not a father yet. But my understanding of fathers is they're very concerned about the future. They're very concerned for their children's futures. And they often tell their children, from my memories of things my father has said to me, he often says things about the future. Hey, if you do this way, this isn't going to turn out well for you. And the child is like, it'll be fine. And the father is like, the future. Think about your future. Oh, we got a father in the chat. We got a father that says, yep. Hey, kid, I know this short-term F you don't care about, but college is coming. Winter is coming, and you better prepare for the future. Oh, that's a good one, Brett. My dad used to say, play the tape to the end. Play the tape to the end, kid. Kid, play the tape to the end. See how this turns out. Watch yourself stumble and fall. And now think about, do you really want to stumble and fall? You don't have to stumble and fall, kid. Who sired you, boy? Yeah. And then there's this thing where, like, the person is beyond. And, like, I just think about, like, I think consciousness comes from beyond, which is why a person is inexhaustible. So I think that would be a little bit of a vertical dimension, is that, like, whatever consciousness is, it comes from God. And it is our consciousness that links us to our Creator. And so that's why, like, a human being is inexhaustible, because they are linked to something that is inexhaustible. And so it's quite a gift. An inexhaustible God gives us just a little bit of his inexhaustibility, but a little bit of inexhaustibility is all it takes to be inexhaustible. Rob, you sound angry at PVK. I'm going to be honest, Rob, you might just need to forgive PVK, because there's a lot of, like, PVK did this, PVK did that. And you're telling me, I don't think you understand that I don't talk to PVK. PVK doesn't watch this. So if you're angry at PVK, Rob, you should probably let it go. Forgive the man. He's busy. He did a funeral this like a couple days ago, and he'll probably be back on YouTube this week at some point. And also, you don't have to watch his video. You could just stop watching his videos. I mean, you don't need to watch PVK videos. Like, you're here. Am I not enough for you, Rob? Am I not enough? Just love me, Rob. Forget about PVK. Forgive the man. Drop it. Move on. Just love me, Rob. Because this stream is about PVK. Make good of the title. I mean, I'm watching PVK, but I really have been commenting more on Vervaeke. I mean, maybe I should change the title to definitely exploring Vervaeke and Vanderklay. Should I put Vanderklay back a step? Should I bring Vervaeke forwards? I don't know. She thinks PVK is our leader. Well, PVK is the top of the hierarchy, and that is a leader. But PVK is a leader that doesn't lead intentionally and strategically. You know, you can get I don't think everyone's fully thought the thing out, because when there's a leader leading, then it's clear that that's the person you got to go after. But when there is a leader who isn't leading, all different kind of dynamic opportunities arise. Yeah, I'll say it again. Thanks so much. All kind of dynamic opportunities arise. A digital warlord. Well, there's certainly not enough war. And not only war, if PVK was a digital warlord, then where's the booty? Where's the treasure? I'm a mercenary for hire. Someone hire me and give me some treasure. Because if there's a war to be won and some treasure to be had, I mean, I'm not against treasure. So, I don't know. More influential. Speaking of influence,
I find that deeply consistent with the notion of naturalism that I'm working with. So that's where you and I may pull apart, because I'm not trying to undermine one of your premises. No. Right? I'm trying to say, look, I think there's a deep connectedness, and I'm trying to argue for it, between, you know, our participatory experience of ourselves as person within the existential mode of I, thou, and our ability to make contact with the thing beyond itself that everything is.
Okay, so he's just using a bunch of fancy words to talk about having a personal relationship with God. Okay, you know, at the end of the day, it's like you can science it up and make it sound really like cool that way, and then you can like evangelical it up and just be like, yeah, do you have a personal relationship with Jesus? And then people cringe at that. But like the language, the words, they're all pointing at the same phenomena, the same shining thing, and that's because like the shiniest thing is God. Hashem, you know, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Oh, good morning, Branch. Good, you know, Branch, just for you, because I'm glad to see you. I'm glad you made out of bed. I'm glad the cat didn't wake you up early.
I see the assassins have failed. I am
Ethan Kahi and have boy, oh boy, have we got a show for you.
I think that's really, really important. But I think I can explain that naturalistically in terms of this language of what's inside the frame, right? And the combinatorial explosive reality that's always outside the frame and conditioning it behind the scenes in ways that I, of course, don't know from within my frame.
Well, I to the degree that I understood what you just went through, and I think
I'm sorry.
No, I think I did, and I think actually you helped me in my subsequent points, because that's very similar to the point I want to make with respect to this mode.
Okay, that was a brilliant move. You know, I think I understand you. Oh, was I? No. That was helpful, and it helps me to now make my argument. Well done, PVK. Well done. This
approach to the world.
Yes.
I also, and we're not going to get into it in this conversation, the thing that started me down this crazy rabbit trail to begin with, and what interested me about Jordan's work when I first came across it, was I think Christianity, especially Protestantism, has in some ways continued to, and Jonathan Peugeot's word, just kind of float away from the material world into a
I should show this, but I'm going to show this. I'm not going to read it. So if you're just listening, you're going to have to read it for yourself because I don't want my tainted, poetic tinged voice to ruin what Branch is saying. I want Branch's words to be Branch's own. But yeah, you got a good chuckle out of me, Branch. Well done. You got a chuckle. That was a good chuckle. Very funny. Very funny for a Monday morning at 5:20 a.m. in Wisconsin.
Sort of Gnosticism, and certain, I'm not going to name names, but certain branches even of Protestant and evangelical Christianity, when I look at how they talk, I think they're really rather Gnostic. And
I mean, I grew up in that world, and so I mean, yeah, at least a form of Gnosticism that is deserving of criticism. Gnosticism is a very heterogeneous thing as well. That's why I tried to pull Gnosis free from Gnosticism in the work that I've been trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think Vervaeke grew up evangelical because that's what I hear. Dude, you can't meow in Hebrew. You don't know Branch. You don't know the Hebrew word for meow. There's no way. There probably wasn't a Hebrew word for meow. There is no way. I'm throwing out a gauntlet. There is no way you know how to meow in Hebrew. And if you do know how, again, I'm dropping on the second gauntlet. The chat is pinned. The chat is pinned. That's not the word. What's the word? The link is pinned. The link has been dropped and it's pinned. You can come on. No faceless. You can say faceless, and then I'll bring you on. You can meow in Hebrew, and then I'll let you go. But I'm telling you that you can't meow in Hebrew. There's no way you can. There's no way. I am triggering the non-present Luke Thompson. Yeah, the thing is, the beyondness of Luke Thompson is always with us, whether or not we. Okay, one sec. Can you just do a quick face show for me? We got somebody in the airlock. All right, appreciate it. Amel is a rabbi. Who's Amel? What's up, Olson?
Morning. Getting my breakfast ready.
We got 8 minutes, and it's the Chris Howard Show.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get on the road before at the 8-minute mark. That's my goal. 5:30. I'm getting on the road.
Yeah, because your whole schedule is now all different.
Yeah, it's a lot different. So
all rearranged.
The sooner I get out, the sooner I could get home in the afternoon and help out with the boy.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing better than just coming home to family.
Yeah. Okay. But seriously, yellow card, postal service, right? Those you're saying Midwest emo is better?
I mean, I like postal service. Yellow card's all right.
All right.
But like, here's the thing. Like, I mean, yellow card has it a little bit. They stole it from us, but they have it a little bit. Postal service doesn't have that same like deep angst of like everything is burning down and I'm not going to be all right, but I'm going to crawl through the fire and the flames and still shovel the snow tomorrow.
Yeah. See, and I think that's the thing. I think the West Coast emo was more commercialable because everybody could understand breaking up with your girlfriend, but
well, and you could just drive to LA to where the studios are and then hand in your disc.
Yeah. Versus, like not all the country could emotionally relate to shoveling snow,
Yeah. And
I could not existentially fathom the dread of snow in the morning until I actually had to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I truly think it's like it's cliche at this point, but like the Sisyphean like pushing the rock up the hill, but then like learning to smile. It's like in the Midwest, you don't have a choice.
Yeah,
like you have to just learn to smile because winter is coming, and so it's like, winter. Like get ready for it and then look forward to it, and then it's just this fun thing you do in the morning, where you slide around and fall on asphalt and concrete and break a hip and then go to work. Like it's okay, you just smile.
Yeah, I guess that's why I never fit. I never, I don't like my fingers freezing. I don't mind the work or the falling and breaking hips, but fingers freezing is where I draw the line.
Yeah, you just gotta get them frostbite enough so you don't feel it anymore.
Oh man, I hated that. That's the worst. My mom, she's on the West Coast too. She heard my stories of my frostbitten fingers, and so she got me like the warmer gloves, like the ones that have the battery packs in them, and like warm your fingers. I felt like
Oh
that was
yeah.
kind of cheating.
No, 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 no. That's smart. That's very smart. That's very smart. That's very smart.
I'm looking forward to never having to use those again.
Well, I pray the Lord doesn't bring you back to the Midwest because winter's going to be here. So hopefully you're not here.
Winter will come.
I'm working on having the most obnoxious visual screen.
Yeah,
So currently we've got you and me. We've got a QR code in the top left corner that takes you to thislittlecorner.net. We have the V&A stamp. We've got some comments on screen, and we've got a rolling banner. I mean, I don't know. Oh, and I've got the overlay on top of a screen shared video. I think I'm using the full obnoxious from StreamYard. I could have music playing beneath us. Maybe I'll do that too.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going full MySpace.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to break this thing. I'm trying. Oh, actually, I think I can throw in a background too. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Now this might be the full extent of my powers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah. Somebody was doing an interview the other day, and they had a background, and then but they had the side by side screen, like of the two people talking, and you could just faintly see the outline of the scroll of the background because it was like scrolling like diagonally, and I was like, why is there faint like blinking on the sides of this person's profile? And then once they got off the screen, it was like I saw that the background was like diagonally scrolling. I was like, oh, that's why.
Diagonally?
Yeah. Yeah,
Really?
from bottom left to top right. Good story, huh?
Yeah, I need to get some flashing lights,
Oh yeah, that'd be good. Sorry,
Then I
you were
could be like a
talking
real.
Vervaeke and stuff. That was deep, and I come on and just talk about emo and flashing lights.
Well, no, it's good because I annoyed Chad and Chad ran away this morning, so we can have two people on screen, which is nice, I'm sorry, Chad.
I don't think so. I think he said he was gonna go be creative, so I think he was
No, I think it's all good. Yes, and
Maybe.
if I hadn't annoyed him, maybe he and I would have sucked into a conversation. So maybe it's all
a
for the
meaningful
best.
thing. Yeah. That's why
Yeah.
I'm here to keep for meaningful conversations.
Not true. Yeah, I was trying to read something during the opening video, but I don't think it worked.
I feel like Vervaeke is like he's just trying to repackage Kierkegaard in a way, and I'm just kind of like, wait, that's what Kierkegaard said.
I think he's doing the history of ideas. I think he's trying to repackage everything into like a postmodern sort of frame. Like in the light of postmodernity, here's the history of ideas.
Yeah.
I haven't read. I've read like excerpts of Kierkegaard, but I haven't read him really at all.
Yeah. I recommend like were you the person I sent the Heidegger, the Hubert Dreyfus Heidegger thing to?
Was it a lecture of like 48 minutes?
Yeah, a lecture. It was like a series of lectures. Of like, yeah.
Yeah, I watched 10 minutes because I read that book this year. So I'm it's in my YouTube watch later thing is growing exponentially to like 65 things right now. And at the beginning of the year it was at like 8 things. Yeah. And I can no longer keep up with my YouTube watch later.
Yeah. Now, so people are throwing things at you now too. So now you're going to be better at dodging, ducking, dipping, diving, and dodging. Just like
yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to say that, but that is occurring. I don't really know what to do with it.
Yeah, you just got to go with it, right? Your present you is gonna blow the socks off of future you. You won't have to deal with the negative consequences. You'll be like, oh man, thank you, past me. That was so great.
I hope that becomes true.
Yeah, I think it is.
Because I think tomorrow morning I want to. Chad wrote this thing called, I think it's called Sam's Diner, and so I want to read that and kind of do like some honestly kind of like some art criticism. Branch, just watch everything I watch. Yeah, I wanted to do some art criticism of Chad's short story. I think would be fun to do for like an hour. And then, yeah, so I already have live streams planned, which because of I have too much things that are like building up around me.
Yeah. Well,
Which
are you gonna
isn't
release a schedule so I can know like when to actually like stop hugging the pillow?
am I going to release a schedule? Like Tuesdays and Thursdays for sure. And then I might stream every morning this week.
All right.
Oh shoot, it's 5:31. We got to get out of here, man. We got to get out of here.
Right.
Chris Howard's going.
All right. Go, Chris.